One of Donald Trump's top supporters is speaking out now against him after it was announced that Donald Trump has accepted a $400 million 747 jet from Qatar as a direct gift to Donald Trump. Not only that, and Trump says he's going to use the new Qatar plane as his Air Force One. It has gold-plated walls, gold this, gold that, golden beds. But the way it is being gifted to him, Trump is going to get to keep it after he leaves the presidency, because they're saying it's also going to be a gift for his presidential library, his hypothetical library, which basically means the plane becomes his and his family's. This is the most blatant corruption in plain view. Add to that the fact that the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, was previously a consultant for Qatar, making about $115,000 per month. Add to that the fact that Qatar was the group or the country as part of a group that bailed out Kushner when his building, 666 building, interesting numbers, in Manhattan was about to go bankrupt during the first Trump administration. And by the way, do you hear Donald Trump talking bad about any Middle East countries? We know Trump is talking crap about Canada, about our allies in Europe. But when it comes to Saudi Arabia, when it comes to Qatar, when it comes to the United Arab Emirates, Donald Trump doesn't have a negative thing to say about them. Add to that the fact that Donald Trump will be taking a trip to the Middle East, meeting with all of these countries whose sovereign wealth funds are directly invested in Donald Trump and Trump's family businesses. Add to that the fact that Trump's kids recently held a conference with all of these Middle East sovereign wealth funds, where they told the funds how you do business with Mar-a-Lago. They called it the Mar-a-Lago economy, how foreign sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East can inject money directly into the Trump family. I kid you not. They held an actual conference that dealt with that. Let me just read for you what Laura Loomer, one of Trump's top advisors, is saying about Trump doing this deal. Then let's go through the facts and let's unpack this. So fact number one, undisputed, Trump is accepting this gift from Qatar, $400 million, gold-plated airplane. So while Americans can't afford homes as prices are going up, as Donald Trump manipulates the markets with on and off again trade wars, this is what Trump is making deals for himself. Laura Loomer says, so not only will the president of the United States be flying around on a $400 million jet paid for by Qatar, but don't forget our own United States Attorney General Pam Bondi, that's what she calls her, was once a registered foreign lobbyist on behalf of Qatar. Bondi was compensated $115,000 per month by Qatar. Qatar has given over $1.8 billion to Hamas over the years. That's an incredible amount of influence for Qatar, a country that harbors Islamic terrorists, to have with our most senior officials, especially given the fact that Islam is completely incompatible with Western civilization and the Judeo-Christian values in our Constitution. That's, again, what Trump's top advisor, I'm just reading you what she's saying. She then goes, I love Trump. I would take a bullet for him, but I have to call, I don't like this expression, a spade, but that's what she says. I'm just reading, but I don't like that expression if you know its roots. I don't like a lot of things that she says. Let's be very clear. Most of the things she says. But here she's at least calling Trump out. We cannot accept a $400 million gift from jihadists in suits. The Qataris fund the same Iranian proxies in Hamas and Hezbollah who have murdered U.S. service members, the same proxies that have worked with the Mexican cartels to get jihadists across our borders. This is really going to be such a stain on the administration if it's true. And I say that as someone who would take a bullet for Trump. I am so disappointed. Pull up right here the consultant agreement. Pam Bondi, or as Laura Loomer calls her, Pam Bondi, is indeed a foreign agent, or was a foreign agent doing consulting services for Qatar. Here you see the agreement, consulting services agreement, Embassy of the United States. You take a look here and you look at who is involved. In consideration of the mutual promises set forth herein, the term of the agreement shall commence on July 1 and expire Appendix A. Additionally, consultant shall provide services. The following consultant personnel shall be designated key personnel: Ms. Pam Bondi and Mr. James Rubin. Key personnel shall be personally and substantially engaged in the delivery of the services. So that, I think, is to comply with the Foreign Agent Services Act. So Bondi was indeed a agent, a consultant for Qatar. As Ned Price says, just take a look what happened in the past few days. Trump is negotiating truce deals directly with the Houthis, covering only the United States. Trump is speaking directly with Hamas, declining to add Israel to his Middle East swing, met face-to-face with Iranian officials, accepted a $400 million plane from Qatar for personal use. And Ned Price goes, some of this has potential to be good, I guess. Some is quite bad. Some is hideously ugly. But critics at home, including in Congress and around the world, would be howling from rooftops had just about any other president done any of this. How about a fraction of this? Instead, we have a collective shrug. Well, you don't have a collective shrug here at the MeidasTouch Network. This is something we call out and talk about daily.
As you know, I'm a dad, and well, I've just been having the greatest time ever. Here's the thing, I never knew just how important it was what we give our children. Typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise. They're filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that growing kids should never eat. That's why Haya was created, the pediatrician-approved superpowered chewable vitamin. Now, while most children's vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar and can contribute to a variety of health issues, Haya is made with 0 sugar and 0 gummy junk, yet it tastes great and is perfect for picky eaters. Haya fills in the most important common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment that our kids need with a yummy taste that they love. Formulated with the help of nutritional experts, Haya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and everything else you can imagine. Haya is designed for kids of all ages and sent straight to your door so parents have one less thing to worry about. Like I said, I'm a dad and I want to make sure that I give my child the best possible vitamins, and that's why I'm so happy to have come across Haya Health. The ingredients are amazing and I don't have to worry about sugar or gummy junk because Haya Health is made without that stuff, and it's able to keep the great taste. Now, we've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. Now, to claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/Meidas. Now, this deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/Meidas and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults.
Let's talk about some of the other deals that have been made. The Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund using $2 billion of Trump crypto to make purchases, basically being able to funnel the service fees to Donald Trump that way and Trump's family through that. You've got Qatar building resorts and villas for Trump. You've got Saudi Arabia building resorts for Trump in Oman. But you can go back, like y'all remember the origin of this, and Just Security did a good job researching this. Remember the timeline on Jared Kushner, Qatar, and 666 Fifth Avenue? Y'all remember that story? I'll just remind you of it right now. This was published March 11th, 2020. It goes on to talk about this timeline right here. When the Kushner companies purchased 666 Fifth Avenue in Midtown Manhattan in early 2007 for a record-breaking $1.8 billion. It was supposed to be the center of their real estate portfolio. Instead, the Kushners struggled to cover their debt on the troubled building since shortly after its purchase on the eve of the financial crisis. As Jared Kushner's father-in-law, Donald Trump, was running for president at the time, the Kushners were pitching Qatari investors to help bail out the building. And just weeks after his father, Charles, reportedly failed to reach a deal with Qatar's Minister of Finance, Jared Kushner, in his capacity as a senior advisor to Donald Trump, reportedly played a central role in supporting a blockade of Qatar by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Kushner never disclosed his meeting with Saudi Arabia and the UAE on the blockade to then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson at the time. Later, a financial company tied to Qatar brokered an especially valuable deal to rescue the Kushner company's property at 666 Fifth Avenue. So that's the timeline there. So there are deep roots here. I want to also share with you some of these comments from people who are reviewing the story at the New York Post. I mean, the New York Post is a right-wing paper, so the commenters usually on New York Post stories are Trump and MAGA or Trump and MAGA adjacent. I looked at the story that they published on this where they talked about the gold-plated walls, and you get things like this. Enjoy, you earned it, MAGA trust but verify, wired up from the enemy primed to spy, preloaded with listening devices, and apparently illegal. We have no business accepting this gift. Buy him his own damn plane, but not a hand-me-down rigged with listening devices. Wow, imagine what we had to give up to receive a gift of this magnitude. Doe sure is great. And yay, America. Never ever would he fly on such a plane. People who don't even believe the story is true. Never would he ever fly on such a plane. The security issues are just insurmountable. I wouldn't trust them. Meanwhile, in the U.S., people are starving, hoarding, screaming, shooting, but good to know that this is what Donald Trump is focused on. Other Trump supporters just can't believe this. Anyone who believes this story, I have a bridge to sell you. Fake news, fake news. And there you have it. Now, here is Donald Trump's press secretary, chief propagandist, when she was asked about Trump's trips that he's about to take to the Middle East. She got very defensive and she's like, how dare you ever make accusations that Donald Trump is in quid pro quos? He's just going to the Middle East to say hello to them. You know, there's nothing to see here. How dare you make such accusations? Here, play this clip.
You noted he is a successful businessman. Do you know if the president has any plans to meet with any of the folks involved with any of the family businesses over there, or see any of the sites that are going to be
Not to my knowledge, and let me just get to the premise of your question that both of you have raised. I think it's frankly ridiculous that anyone in this room would even suggest that President Trump is doing anything for his own benefit. He left a life of luxury and a life of running a very successful real estate empire for public service, not just once, but twice. And again, the American public reelected him back to this White House because they trust he acts in the best interest of our country and putting the American public first. This is a president who has actually lost money for being president of the United States. I don't remember these same type of questions being asked of my predecessor about a career politician who was clearly profiting off of this office. That is not what President Trump does, and this White House holds ourselves to the highest of ethical standards.
Well, there you have it, folks. You can judge for yourself. Let me know what you think and hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers, and thank you for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.